Look at Monday morning, Alaska. We've got a lot to talk about when it comes to the weather that we are going to see this week across the state. We saw fairly quiet conditions through the weekend outside of some snow showers that did push through parts of South Central, and we're still favoring some of that light snow this morning. But of course, one thing we are going to continue to watch is a strong storm that's going to build into the Aleutians. So snow chances across South Central. That's what we're going to be watching this week across a good portion of the southern coastline. Of course, we're going to be dealing with a series of storms which will bring wintry impacts across not only the Aleutians but western to southwest Alaska, where we've got winter storm watches, winter storm warnings, as well as some blizzard conditions looking likely into your Tuesday. While there is no weather alerts across South Central outside of a winter weather advisory through the Copper River Basin, we will see some increasing snow into your Tuesday, with bitter cold continuing for areas of the slope. We've got a ridge of high pressure out towards the slope that is leading to some very cold conditions. Temperatures this morning bottoming out near 40 below for areas north of the Brooks Range. We've even seen parts of the interior where temperatures this morning have bottomed out anywhere from 50 to 55 below zero. So some colder conditions have made a return to the state, and you can see some of that light precip that's occurring across eastern parts of Prince William Sound and into the Copper River Basin. But of course, our area of low pressure that we're watching, that's going to be the big focus over the next couple of days, is just to the southwest of the western Aleutians. And as a result of this incoming storm system, we've got several areas of the state through western Alaska, southwest, which is up under winter storm warnings, winter storm watches, as well as some blizzard conditions. And we've also got a high wind warning for areas of the Aleutians where we could see gusts up to 95 miles per hour. And this comes as that storm system is expected to steadily build northeast throughout the day and into our Tuesday. So for your Monday, the greatest impacts will be felt through the Aleutians. Into Tuesday, the greatest impacts will begin to occur through western and southwest Alaska, with increasing snow also expected to build into South Central. So as far as those winds this morning, not too terribly windy. That low is still well south of the western Aleutians, but through the afternoon and into the evening hours, you will see those winds quickly increase. So be prepared for some gusts up to about 90 to 95 miles per hour through parts of the Aleutians. Now there's that area of low pressure. You can see already dealing with some snow as you head out towards locations near Adak, really for locations west of the central Aleutians, where we're going to continue to favor some snow showers sticking around throughout the day with increasing winds. As that low makes an approach towards the western and central Aleutians, you'll see a transition from snow to more in the way of a snow-rain mix. And this comes as we begin to tap into some warmer conditions, which will be associated with this low pressure system. So it remains fairly strong as it builds into the Bering. Notice that widespread snow that's building into southwest Alaska. So the big question being posed here over the next couple of days is, how resilient will that ice be out towards southwest Alaska? If this was a spring storm, if this was a early fall storm, we would be talking about some significant high surf with this incoming storm system. But one thing we are going to be watching with this storm as it builds into the Bering will we see any water beginning to expose itself through the cracks in the ice, because that could lead to some problems for areas of southwest. If the ice holds up, we won't see any significant coastal impacts, but we will still deal with some gusty winds as well as some snow showers, winds gusting anywhere from about 45 to 55 miles per hour. So the one thing in our favor with this incoming storm is that we do have plenty of ice that will prevent a lot of that high surf. But the question again becomes, will we see any of that weak ice and exposed cracks leading to some of that water lifting up through those cracks? So we'll be watching for that, or any reports through southwest Alaska, but the heaviest snowfall is expected into your Tuesday. And then of course you can see by midweek we're going to favor scattered to periodic snow showers across western Alaska, South Central, and into the interior. We'll also see some rain and snow returning to areas of southeast by midweek, where we're going to see more of that widespread activity to be expected. So a lot more active weather taking hold across the state as we welcome in the coming days. Now in terms of that snowfall accumulation through the Copper River Basin, for the rest of today we could see about 3 to 8 inches of snow accumulation. Of course, the higher snowfall totals will be out towards McCarthy and near the Tok Cutoff. That's largely what we can expect in terms of snowfall today, as well as through the Aleutians. conditions. And then as we welcome in the overnight hours on into Tuesday, that snow begins to ramp up through southwest Alaska. We'll also see the potential for several inches of snow accumulation, and with winds gusting about 45 to 55 miles per hour, that will lead to some blowing snow and blizzard conditions through southwest Alaska. So Tuesday into Wednesday morning looks to be the greatest impacts for areas of western and southwest Alaska. And then, of course, we'll also tap into that snowfall here across South Central. Of course, we'll get into those details here in about the next minute or so. But you can see snow spreading north across the state. We'll also see some of that snow accumulation spreading into the interior. Until that snow arrives for the interior, you will continue to hold on to those sub-zero values through at least tomorrow. And then by Wednesday, we will see those temperatures beginning to approach 0 degrees once again, with temperatures by this weekend for Fairbanks likely topping out in the upper single digits for your Valentine's Day. So despite the cold start to the week, we will see a gradual warming trend for many areas of the state. You can see today we'll make it to 0 degrees in Bethel, and of course that snow arrives into your Tuesday and Wednesday, where we could pick up several inches. Again, be prepared for those winds gusting up to 55 miles per hour. And again, the biggest question being posed is, will that ice out towards the Kuskokwim Delta, if it's resilient enough, we shouldn't see any significant impacts outside of snow and winds. However, if we see any cracks in that ice, some water could begin to move up through those cracks. So we certainly will be watching for that. But daily highs stay in the teens and the 20s starting tomorrow. Those overnight lows still fairly chilly. We will see those temperatures steadily warm through the night, but we will still see a couple of mornings where those sub-zero values can be expected. Meanwhile, across South Central, we continue to see fairly dry conditions. That should not say heavy coastal rain. My apologies there, but we will hold on to some rain and snow mix across eastern parts of Prince William Sound, and of course several inches of snow accumulation through the Copper River Basin. But our snow chances do remain with us this week across South Central. Not so much today, outside of some early morning flurries, and for those locations out near Valdez, Cordova, McCarthy, and through southern parts of the Copper River Basin. Now, Tuesday and Wednesday will bring the best chance for some snow across the rest of South Central. So through today, again, can't rule out some of that light accumulation, but the better chance of seeing that will be as you head further east into South Central. And then by tomorrow morning, a dry start to your commute, but that snow will begin to arrive from the southwest through the mid-morning hours. And this is where we'll begin to pick up a couple to several inches of snow accumulation. Now, right now, it looks likely that we'll pick up about 3 to 5 inches of snow accumulation. Of course, higher amounts to be expected through Thompson Pass, the Chugach Range, through Turnagain Pass, and of course, the Chugach Mountains as a whole. We'll certainly see some of those higher snowfall totals. But we are beginning to see that increasing chance for some snow into our Tuesday, and really holding on to at least some isolated scattered showers for that snow throughout the rest of the week. So be prepared for that increasing chance as we welcome in your Tuesday. Now, when it comes to looking at what we can expect to see in terms of that snow accumulation, now you don't want to just look at the model run itself and what it spits out. You want to look at the generalized pattern run over the past several days. And right now, we continue to look at that potential. Again, on the low side, we could see about 1 inch or 2 inches of snow accumulation, while on the higher side, we could see about 5 to 6 inches. So as a result of that, we're going about 3 to 5 inches of snow accumulation across western parts of South Central into our Tuesday. Shouldn't see any significant impacts with this storm system moving in outside of that increasing snow on the roadways, and we may see some localized visibility reduction. But those temperatures staying in the 20s, overnight lows in the teens. We should see a push of warmer air arriving as we welcome in our Wednesday, with those temperatures topping out near that freezing mark. And then by Valentine's Day, we'll also be watching another chance for some snow in the forecast, where those temperatures will be sitting right around the mid-20s. So again, active weather with us across the state. We are out of the coldest air of the season. Now, of course, with that said, we're still holding on to some bitter cold through the interior and areas of the slope, but even for those locations, we will begin to see gradual warming throughout the rest of the week. So that's what we're going to be dealing with across the state in terms of the weather. Now we're going to take it to some of the beautiful photos that we've got from across the state. This photo coming in from Wainwright. Thanks to Brenton for sending in these gorgeous conditions. Of course, as you know, last month we did see the sun officially rise on the slope for the first time since the fall of last year. And so we're beginning to steadily gain daylight across the state. Many areas seeing more than 5 minutes of daylight that we gain each day. Meanwhile, the aurora still certainly providing some picturesque opportunities. This photo coming in from the interior, thanks to Nick for sending in this gorgeous shot there with those snow-covered scenery and that aurora peeking in the night sky. And then, of course, here across South Central, our Lolly Murrow sitting in this beautiful shot of that Sunday sunset we saw yesterday. Of course, the weekend, not too terribly chilly. We did see slightly cooler conditions compared to those 30s and 40s we did see for last week and parts of the first part of February. But as far as what we are going to be dealing with this week is those temperatures staying in the 20s. And look at this, a beautiful shot of that night sky. If you look close enough, you might be able to make out some of the constellations in the night sky. This photo sent in from Ben T. And then we'll leave you with one nice shot of the Seahawks colors. This photo coming in from Theodora S. Bayou, who painted the colors of the Seahawks into the snow. And hey, maybe that helped them win, because as we know that the Seahawks, the Pacific Northwest, certainly cheering on the winning Seahawks for the Super Bowl 60 this year. Now, coming up after the break, of course, if you are on our Facebook or YouTube channel, you can go to our streaming services to tune into what's coming up after the break, where we'll be talking about some great stories coming in from the lower 48. We'll be starting a segment called Today in Weather History, and we'll take you down to the Mississippi Delta, where they were dealing with a major ice storm back on February 9th of 1994. We've also got a moment in science, and then also a new published study finds how well a cancer treatment works may actually depend on the time of day it's giving to the patient. So we'll have that for you coming up after the break. And again, if you are on Facebook or on our streaming platform on YouTube, you can go to any of our streaming services and download them. And we do this every day at 9 a.m. Of course, we're going to start incorporating this on Mondays with that statewide forecast. But you can tune in on any of our streaming services coming up after the break for more on what we'll be seeing across the state.